Unrelenting in that mockery, you fire back with words of wisdom and attack. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Yeah! Sodium's getting high, and vitamin B12. You're getting nourishment from the nuts variety that you delve. You may think of dirty jokes, all your 69 tropes. But Capo continues lunch, he continues to munch. You didn't turn your back on them, although they're making your mouth dry. You'll never go hungry again until your death counts 60 high. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Damn your rotating cube! Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. 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 Shut up! Let me munch my nuts.
Yeah! That was a fucking jam!
Today, we pay homage to the streamer's salty snack of choice, and the capos brave enough to defend their honor. Sit back and listen for a while, friends. You're in for one hell of a salty surprise. Sometimes streaming requires a meal, but the chat won't let you enjoy your snack. Unrelenting in that mockery, you fire back with words of wisdom and attack. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Yeah! Sodium's getting high, and vitamin B12. You're getting nourishment from the nuts variety that you delve. You may think of dirty jokes, all your 69 tropes. But Capo continues lunch, he continues to munch. You didn't turn your back on them, although they're making your mouth dry. You'll never go hungry again until your death counts 60 high. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts.
Damn your rotating cube!
Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up. Let me munch my nuts. Shut up. Let me munch my nuts. Shut up. Let me munch my nuts.
Yeah. That was a fucking jam.
Today, we pay homage to the streamer's salty snack of choice and the capo who's brave enough to defend their honor. Sit back and listen for a while, friends. You're in for one hell of a salty surprise. Sometimes streaming requires a meal, but the chat won't let you enjoy your snack. Unrelenting in that mockery, you fire back with words of wisdom and attack. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Yeah! Sodium's getting high, and vitamin B12. You're getting nourishment from the nuts variety that you do. You may think of dirty jokes, all your 69-inch ropes. But Capo continues lunch, he continues to munch. You didn't turn your back on them, although they're making your mouth dry. You'll never go hungry again until your death counts 60 high. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts.
Damn you, rotating cube! Ah!
Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. 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 Shut up! Let me munch my nuts.
Yeah. That was a fucking jam.
Today, we pay homage to the streamer's salty snack of choice and the capo who's brave enough to defend their honor. Sit back and listen for a while, friends. You're in for one hell of a salty surprise. Sometimes streaming requires a meal, but the chat won't let you enjoy your snack. Unrelenting in that mockery, you fire back with words of wisdom and attack. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Yeah! Sodium's getting high, and vitamin B12. You're getting nourishment from the nuts variety that you do. You may think of dirty jokes, all your 69-inch ropes. But Capo continues lunch, he continues to munch. You didn't turn your back on them, although they're making your mouth dry. You'll never go hungry again until your death counts 60 high. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts.
Damn you, rotating cube! Ah!
Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up! Let me munch my nuts. Shut up!
Okay, we should be live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to session 12 of the Ebon Death. Sorry about the short wait there. We had some technical difficulties because internet be internet. But I believe everything is all good now. So, hi, how's it going? Martas, thank you for the raid just now. That was awesome. Hope everyone's doing okay. We are gonna get cracking with this episode. So I know everyone in the stream got the recap, but okay. So of my players, who remembers what happened last week?
I bought a chicken and put it on a dog's head.
I may have met a big dragon god.
Did we need anything else after the chicken?
No, I think
Not
it
really
was
everything else. I mean, like the risk chasing us at the beginning, that was a bit Monka-esque. We nearly killed ourselves with a fart cloud and fire. Tiny
not
Boys
me.
nearly yeeted us all with a pony. There's
Half out of the carriage.
yeah, because he was going crazy, and then everyone was like, no! Everyone was like, yeah! And then no! And then yeah! And then I was like, no! And then screw it. It's done. Kevlan is dead too.
A lich.
Too. Like just
He is now a lich. We fight him in 20 episodes.
Kevlich.
Mark
Dead
my
square.
words.
Coming soon.
Kevlich.
yeah.
So before we get started with the episode proper, I was messing around with something a little earlier, and I figure everyone that's watching the stream would want to see this. So everyone has been messing around with Hero Forge today, apart from Charles. So I'm going to click a quick button, and everyone's minis in their current state before we've done more editing are going to show up in front of your faces. So here we go. Charles, do your best to look plastic.
Hovers on the clip button.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Your plastic.
So yeah, if you want a bit more of a visualization of what our characters look like in-game, then this is the exact, approximate, perfect version of what they look like. So specifically Gershaw looks exactly like this at all given moments.
And he's just chilling on the floor.
Is there a way to like import the t-shirt design onto our
Not
card?
without being
Oh, not with that pro. I'd have to. If I get decals made, I could make casual versions and paint them, and then decal the D20 on them in the future.
Nice.
That'd be pretty sweet. So yeah, we've been a little bit obsessed.
Up a little bit?
We've been a little obsessed with Hero Forge, apart from Charles, who's been busy with other things. So there you go. That's what everyone looks like in game. And I've turned on. There you go. You can move
Oh,
again.
thank God for that.
Seeing your eyes move was like seeing those creepy moving portraits in like Indiana Jones.
That's like the eyes were following me. What?
And that's gonna be a free inspiration to the first person that takes any clip of Charles like that and turns it into a BTTV emote.
Okay, clipping.
Anyway, on with the actual game. I think we've messed around quite enough so far without doing any actual progress on any kind of story. So, Pathfinders, you all find yourselves in Tamont doing various things. Solgra and Gershaw have purchased pets with Rebecca. Fanny Boss and Oscar drank heavily with John. Capo, I believe you got back to the tavern just at the end of last session to join them?
Not actually, no, I got back in town.
Oh, you were
Not
back
quite
in town. M is in the middle of some dirty dealings and exchanging of informations with the unsavory characters of Tamont.
And sending cheeky DMs,
Indeed. Sliding across the continent.
as one does.
And picking up from where we left off, Sharid, you are in the Arcane Archives currently with Bucky. I believe you are reading through some stories. I might have something for Bucky.
That's great.
So let's quickly
Bucky,
move our focus
are you-
over to the Arcane Archives now and pick up with Sharid.
Are you ready for a story, Bucky?
You don't hear anything from Bucky directly, but you do get a nudging sense in your mind of please continue.
Okay, so I put Bucky on the table and hold the book out in front of him so we can both read at the same time. And we begin the tale. There was once a velveteen birdie, and in the beginning he was really splendid. He was fat and fluffy as a birdie should be. His feathers were spotted brown and white. He had real thread, and his eyes were lined with pink satin. On Christmas morning, when he sat wedged in the top of the boy's stocking with a sprig of holly between his claws, the effect was charming. There were other things in the stocking: good berries and better berries and other toys and chocolate almonds and a clockwork mouse, but the bunny was the best of them all. For 2 hours, the boy loved the bird, and then aunts and uncles came for dinner. There was a great rustling of tissue paper and unwrapping of presents, and in the excitement of looking at all the new presents, the velveteen birdie was forgotten. For a long time, he lived in the cupboard in the nursery floor, and no one thought much about him. He was shy, and being only made of velvet, some of the more expensive toys made fun of him. The mechanical toys were superior and looked down on everyone else. They were full of modern ideas. They pretended that they were real. The rabbit couldn't claim to be a model. So the birdie couldn't claim to be a model for anything, for he didn't know that real birdies existed. He thought they were stuffed with sawdust, like himself, and he understood that sawdust was out of date and should never be mentioned in the modern toy circles. Even Timmy, the jointed wooden lion who was made by disabled soldiers and should have had broader views, put on airs, and pretended he was connected with the government, and between him and all, the poor little birdie was made to feel insignificant and commonplace. The only one kind to him was the skin horse. The skin horse lived longer than anyone else in the nursery. He was old, so old that his brown coat was bald in patches, and he showed seams underneath. Most of the hairs in his tails were plucked. He was wise, for he had seen a long succession of mechanical toys arrive to boast and swagger, and by break their mainsprings and pass away. And he knew that they were only toys and would never turn into anything else. For nursery magic is strange and wonderful, and only those playthings that are old and wise and experienced, like the skin horse, understand it. "What's real?" asked the birdie one day, when they were lying side by side. "Does it mean having things that buzz inside you, and a stick-out handle?" "Real isn't how you're made," said the skin horse. "It's a thing that happens to you when a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you. And then you become real." "Does it hurt?" asked the birdie. "Sometimes," said the horse, for he was always truthful. "But when you're real, you don't mind being hurt." "Does it all happen at once, like being wound up, or is it bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the skin horse. "You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily, or have sharp edges, or you have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you're real, most of your hair has been loved off, your eyes drop out, You get loose in the joints and become shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you're real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. I suppose you're real, said the rabbit, and then he wished he hadn't said it, for he thought the skin horse might be sensitive, but the horse only smiled. The boy's uncle made me real, he said. That was many, many years ago. But once you're real, you can't become unreal. It lasts for always. The birdie sighed. He thought it would be a long time before this magic called real happened to him. He longed to become real, to know what it felt like. And yet the idea of growing shabby and losing his eyes and beak was rather sad. He wished he could become it without these uncomfortable things happening to him. There was a person called Nana who ruled the nursery. Sometimes she took no notice of playthings lying about. Sometimes, for no reason, she swooped them up like a great wind and put them away in cupboards. She called this tidying up, and the playthings all hated it, especially the tin ones. The rabbit didn't mind it much. Neither the birdie. They were soft, and when he was thrown, they landed soft too. One evening when the boy was going to bed, he couldn't find the porcelain doll that slept with him. Nana was in a hurry, and it took her too much time to hunt for the dolls at bedtime, so she simply looked about and seeing that the toy cupboard stood open, made a swoop. Here, she said, take your old birdie. He'll do. Take him to sleep. And she dragged the birdie out by one wing and put him in the boy's arms. That night, the birdie slept in the boy's bed. At first he found it uncomfortable, for the boy hugged him very tight, and sometimes he rolled over on him, and sometimes pushed him under the pillows so that the birdie could barely breathe. And he missed too those long moonlight hours in the nursery when the house was silent and his talks with the skin horse. But soon he grew to like it. The boy talked to him and made nice nests for him with the bedclothes. Said they were like real nests that real birdies lived in. And they played splendid games together in whispers when Nana had gone to supper and left the nightlight burning. And when the boy went to sleep, the birdie would snuggle close under his chin and dream, with the boy's hand clasped around him all night long. And time went on, and the birdie was happy, so happy that he never noticed how his beautiful feathers were getting shabby, and his tail was coming undone, and all the pink rubbed off his nose, where the boy had kissed him. Spring came, and they had long days in the garden, for where the boy went, the birdie went too. They had rides in the wheelbarrow and picnics on the grass, and had lovely nests built under the raspberry canes behind the flower border. And once, when the boy was called away to go to tea, the birdie was left in the lawn until long after dusk, and Nana had to come and look for him with candles because the boy couldn't go to sleep unless he was there. He was wet with the dew and earthy from being in the nests outside, and Nana grumbled as she rubbed him off with a corner of the apron. You must have your old buddy, she said. All that fuss just for a toy. The boy sat up in bed and stretched out his hands. Give me the birdie. You mustn't say that. He isn't a toy. He's real. And when the rabbit heard that, he was happy, for he knew that what the skin horse said was true at last. The nursery magic happened to him, and he was a toy no longer. He was real. The boy himself said it. That night he was almost too happy to sleep, and so much love stirred in his little sawdust heart that it almost burst. And into his boot-button eyes, that had long ago lost their polish, came wisdom and beauty. Even Nana noticed it the next morning when she picked him up and said, I declare, if that old birdie hasn't got quite annoying expression. That was a wonderful summer. To be continued.
You get a sense in your mind as you finish reading up to that point, the same arcane energies that you've been feeling for a long time now, exuding from Bucky. You sense contentment and maybe even a spark of happiness, but the same pause in the arcane magic is one that you will remember from whenever Bucky was processing a lot of information or was unable to directly respond to you. So it seems to have it's had some effect. But you may not
Well,
get a...
hopefully you like the story. That wasn't all of it, but
No,
I
no,
think-
but from
I
what
think there's a lot there.
from what Bucky was just absorbing there, it may take a while before he has any questions or comments on that story. But you can definitely sense that he enjoyed it, or they enjoyed it, should I say?
Well, if you ever want the continuation, just let me know. I'm gonna leave. Actually, I'm just gonna take Bucky with me as I go look about the library.
Okay, so you're looking about the library, and for the rest of the party at this point, it is starting to approach the evening in Timont, and any of you that have not rested are going to take another level of exhaustion.
Yay.
I would,
Oh no.
although in this instance, you're going to lose both levels of exhaustion from a long rest. But I'd probably not recommend trying to like stay awake and do stuff for yet another night.
Wait, so we exhaustion level 2 now?
For now, yes.
Don't throw us into battle again.
I'm not going to throw you into battle, but I feel like it should dissuade you from starting any particular fights.
If there is still time before, like, proper evening, I would like to do something else before returning to the tavern.
Okay, so we're with Caporius. Caporius, what are you up to?
I would like to make my way to either weapons store or smith or something along those lines. If I'm able to find one.
You can definitely see as you wander through this region of the city. You've been hearing the faint sounds of a smith's hammer for some time, and as you're approaching, you can see now that the smith himself is getting ready to pack up shop and wind down from all the very heavy, sort of extraneous work. But he does seem to still be amiable.
I approach the smith and I introduce myself. I say, "Hello, my name is Caporius, and I would like to buy a weapon."
He takes a moment to study you and looks you up and down for a second, and he mentions to you, it's very nice to meet you, Caporius. It's been a long time since I've seen a Dragonborn. Where do you hail from?"
The city of Carrara, although where I am from is not as important as where I am going. That went way more philosophical than I thought it would.
He says, Carrara, of course. They have some good weapons in Carrara. Local weapons, I'm sure you know the kind. I'm not sure what I could possibly do for you, but I'll give it a go.
Well, as you know, we're quite a ways out from Carrara. There is no straightforward way for me to do a quick jaunt back, as it were. So something simple will do.
He says, of course. I have not the fine metals you're used to, but I'm sure I can attempt to make something. What is it that you're looking for?
I'm looking for a brass knuckle of sorts. Don't know what the proper term of the area is, but...
And he gives you a big grin, and you can see the missing teeth, and he sort of says, now that's something I can definitely make for you. And he says, give me a moment. He grabs your hand and pulls you into the smith shop, and before you can even think, he's already got a tape measure out, and he's measuring the breadth of your palm, and he says, I assume it's for you.
Indeed.
And he measures up and says, I don't have anything in stock pre-made that you'd find useful, unfortunately. But give me, and he thinks, give me a day. I can probably make something quite nice. He says, how much were you looking to part with?
Well, I would... What? That's not the question you're supposed to ask.
He says, I can make it of all manner of material, but if you've got some spare coin lying around, then maybe you're the person I'm looking for to finally make use of the rarer metals I have on hand. It'll cost you a pretty penny, though.
What could you do me for, say, 100 gold coins?
He says, is that all you've got on you?
Might be.
Says 100's not gonna quite cover the costs of the materials and labour, unfortunately. I could definitely make you a steel one for less than that. I wouldn't push you much more than 15 gold pieces for a steel one, but crying shame. If you could muster up say 200 gold pieces, I could make something really special.
Tell you what, I'll give you 100 now and another 100 tomorrow.
And he
I feel like I can make that work.
he looks you up and down, taking in your character. How do I know you'll pay the other 100?
Well, if I don't, I'll be out the hundreds.
And I'll
won't
be
have
out
to whip
some
them,
fairly fine metal ingots.
I suppose.
I only promise I'm gonna get paid for my work.
How about I leave you my ring as a loan?
And he cocks his head and's like, what kind of ring?
Family heirloom.
Says, show me.
Shows ring.
He takes the ring from you very, very gently, and he's careful with it as he looks at it and is like, this will do nicely. And I know should you not return with the other 100 gold pieces, I can make a significant profit off of this ring alone. And he places the ring in the pocket of his apron and says, come see me tomorrow, end of the day, just like now, and I'm sure you'll be very pleased with what I have to offer.
I look forward to it.
And with that, he starts working, drawing out plans on the bench, and after a moment he looks up and says, I said tomorrow. I don't like people watching over me as I work.
Very well. Walks away.
He waits until you've left and then picks up his things and walks deeper into the back of the smiths. And you can hear already the faint sounds of tinkering and a few idle swears as you make your way away from the blacksmiths. Okay, is anyone else planning on doing anything this evening? I know that several of you are in a tavern. What about those of you not in taverns currently? Where are you heading? Solgrit and Gershaw, what are you two going to do since we last saw you wandering the streets of Tamont with
Chicken dog.
with the chicken dog
Say,
and
what
Rebecca?
What do you want to do? Because I'm half dead with a dog on my back, so I was thinking heading towards the tavern.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, the dog on your back, the dog barks in your ear, and you don't know what like a smug look on a dog would be, but you feel like you've now seen it. Solgren now understands what a smug dog looks like.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. I'm definitely in agreement with you there.
You
I think we should head there now. Yeah.
So-
Maybe just say hi to the guy with the meat on the sticks, just to be like, yeah, we found the guy. Thanks for your help, innit? Goal, innit?
Yeah. So as you guys are walking back to the Red Mullet, making your way through town, you come across the corner where you last saw Gol, the vendor of suspect meats on sticks, and you can see that he's packing away a lot of what he's got on him. There remains of some various unidentifiable meats still on the grill in front of him as he packs away the majority of his wares, and he grins as he sees you walk past, and he nods to you and says, "Last few bits of meat on stick, want it?"
Sure, yeah, we'll take the last. Is there 3 there?
There's currently 6. The last 6. They're looking a bit charred and burnt from being on the grill for so long. He says, "I hate wasting this fine product. Help yourself."
I'll give you 2 gold pieces for 3.
And he stops himself from talking and says, "Of course, yes, of course, 2 gold pieces for 3." In fact, 2
There
gold
you go.
pieces, I'll give you all 6.
Alright, yeah, I'll take it.
And he takes the 2 gold pieces from you and puts it in his pocket and gives you all 6 of the remaining sticks of meat.
Cool. And I hand 1 to Rebecca, 1 to Solgra, 2 to the dog, and then I keep 1 in reserve so that she can kind of peck it every now and again, and then 1 for me.
Excellent. So, Gol thanks you for your business, and he says, he leans over the grill a bit to you as he's pushing things out of the way and says, here, how long are you in town for?
Don't know. Long enough. At least until tomorrow for sure.
He says, I presumed you'd been here for the festival.
Festival.
Ooh,
And he
sounds nice.
looks at both of you, and then he looks down the street to his left and to his right and sort of gestures. Did you think it was like this every day?
See no reason why not.
Says, that's where you're wrong, Timon. Nasty place most days. But for the next 3 days, there's some big festival to commemorate some royal tosspot. I don't know, but what it does mean is that several of us get a chance to show our particular skills, maybe even earn some coin for doing so. And not to mention selling the fine products I have out here with the other street vendors. So you've really not heard of the festival?
No, can you elaborate? You know.
It says, I forget its official name. Like I said, some royal snob in their honour. I couldn't care less. However, there are several events going on, and not that I should give away, but there is a culinary event going on, and that's why I'm here. It says, to the best of my knowledge, I think there's a performance event happening. I think that might be at the Drunken Duck. Something about bards. I don't know. I've never been one for the arts.
Oh. Well,
And more importantly, and he looks over at Solgra and nods like, I imagined you were here for the tournament.
Tournament.
He says, tournament. Big fighting tournament. Arena, other side of the city. Winner, I hear, 5,000 gold in prize money.
Well, I'm in.
I might have to partake in that too.
And he grins and says, I thought you might be. Says, I think there's a few other things going on, but if it's not cooking and it's not fighting, I can't really say I'm interested. And before you get a chance to sort of walk away, he taps his pocket and says, oh, wait, hang on. And he pulls out a crumpled flyer on the worst kind of paper you've ever seen, and scribbled across it is a list of the events, and he hands it to you and says, I'm pretty sure that's everything. And as you read over the flyer, it tells you that there is commencing tomorrow, there is a one-on-one combat tournament, a archery tournament, a performance event, which has been scribbled out and rewritten as a naff bard thing, at the Drunken Duck. There is also a culinary event, so a cook-off of varying kinds, an arts and crafts event, which again is scribbled out and written the same, just toss is written next to it, and you can't make out the scribbles of what the last 2 events are, although one looks like it might have the word scholarly, but written very poorly. And while you're reading over the flyer, Gol says to you, like, I'm pretty sure all those events have some level of prize money attached to them. I know the culinary one does, and if you value your life, you will stay out of the cooking one. That's my realm.
Noted.
He says,
I mean, these meat on sticks are pretty good, to be honest.
He says, "Pah! I won't be preparing the meat on sticks. That's for the street people, for the vendors. Those judges want some hoity-toity, royal-worthy garbage. Now I can make it. I just don't much like it."
Can you do the? Can you just do like a fancy meat on a stick? It'd be great.
He leans in and says, "Shh. Technically, I might
like
dress
the
it
way
up
you
and give
think,
it a
man.
fancy name, but in the end, everything, all meat on stick is just meat on stick.
Can you just do meat do stick?
He thinks and smarts from it. Meat the stick. Says, I like it. Says, you've said it out loud now, you can't take that back, I'm using it.
Yeah, don't worry. You can even take the copyright for it.
I don't think either of us are going to fight you for it.
Says, good. And
Not
you
in
can-
my state, anyway.
he tears the bottom of the flyer off that you were holding, takes it back, and just starts scrawling on it, meat the stick, and puts it in his pocket.
Do you know anywhere where we could get another copy of that flyer?
And he thinks, says, I just got it handed to me as I entered the city, though I imagine someone in one of the taverns will have more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the barkeeps might keep a few just in case anyone doesn't get them.
He says, although if you want to, for everyone you find, just scribble out the culinary event for me, do me a favour, don't let anyone know it's happening. If no one else enters, I can't lose.
Don't worry, I have confidence in meat to stick.
He says, me too, but half for cooking is the deceptive fighting behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying?
No, but I don't know what I want
He
to
says,
know.
don't worry, it's a chef thing.
I'll leave the meat a mystery, you know what I'm saying?
He says, as best you do.
Right, let's head off. Thanks for your chats though, Goal. And for the info.
And he gives you a nod and he continues to pack away his stall as he prepares to sell in himself for the night. So we've gotten to sort of mid to late evening now. Shareed is still in the Arcane Archives. Solgret and Gershaw, Rebecca, Doug, and Kevlan 2, Electric Boogaloo, the chicken, all make it back to the Red Mullet just fine. Fanny Boss, Oscar, you're still drinking with John. Capo, I'm assuming at this point you've gone straight back to the tavern as well. You're in the tavern, so you and Capo, sorry, not Capo, you and Cactus are the last two now, not in the tavern, so what are you up to?
Well, after I went to the flying dog, I was thinking I could. Well, what I want to do is I want to find an artificer to get the reloader things on the crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to find a place to sell the jewelry that I have. But
Okay,
I
so
might not do it tonight. Can I do it like very early tomorrow morning?
yeah, you can do. Also, I was going to say as well, because we've had so much stuff going on, like the last time we saw you, it was still like, you know, early afternoon, so you could have done that during the day.
What have I been doing?
That's what I'm asking. What have you been doing? That's what we're going to cover now.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to know what I was doing in that specific. Oh, yeah. Oh. Wow. Time goes so slowly here.
So last
Can
we
I do
picked up with
that?
you on last session, you'd just gotten the information about the Jade Arachnid and the book. So you were last in the Drunken Duck, having received that information,
Yeah.
and yeah, you've got an entire afternoon ahead of you.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay. I thought it was later. I still have level 1 exhaustion at that point. Do
Yes.
I have level 2?
Not yet. Not for another hour or
Not
two.
yet. That doesn't really matter. Does it matter if I have level 1 exhaustion for selling stuff and
Not well. It'll be skill checks that it messes with. Which, to be fair, you've not slept in over 24 hours. Although you don't sleep, so to be fair, you might be able to get away with most things.
Okay, then I'm gonna go and do things.
You could definitely do with resting at some point. I don't think you're going to do very well if it comes to making you think very hard about things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what to do. Can I do it like early in the morning before we?
Yeah, if you want to, now you can head back to
Do
the tavern
things.
and spend your time drinking and hanging out with everybody until the next day.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
And because I only sleep 4 hours, so I can go like before people do stuff.
True. And Cactus, what are you doing in the interim from the Arcane Archives to the end of the night?
After the Bucky story, I was browsing around for Warforged books, and then got bored because they weren't berries, and so I take Bucky outside.
Okay, so the few pieces of Warforged trivia that you've managed to glean from both what proclaimed to be non-fiction books and from some what claimed to be very serious fiction books, you can put together that there was a war between two human races, well, human race, two houses, noble houses, somehow on this continent in the Second Age, so a very long time ago, and that is presumably what brought forth the Warforged in the first place, to fight as a proxy soldier. None of the fiction that you found, or even non-fiction, gives you any ideas on what happened from like 200 years prior to the end of the Second Age, all the way up until the mention of Exalted Prime alongside Jawn in recent years. So there's a huge gap in knowledge there. You don't know where they've gone or why they aren't as prolific as they should be based on the stories. So that's what you've managed to glean through various books from spending like a couple of hours as well as reading Tabuki.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm gonna walk outside the church. I'll wave bye to Vitas on the way out.
Vitas notices you as you walk past, and he gives you a polite wave, and immediately his head's back down as he's scribbling and writing, and more books have amassed alongside him from what you saw when you first entered the library.
I'll pop a cheeky good berry beside him and say, remember to eat.
And he whispers back as he's writing, like, thank you, Sharid.
Okay, and then I head out of the library.
Cool. So you heading back to the tavern as well?
Yeah. When I walk outside, I get Zombo to come follow, but he just kind of sits there doing nothing.
Zombo eventually moves to follow you, much to the delight of the old man who has been stood opposite him for the entire time you've been in the archive. He seems to visibly relax and crumple into himself, and you can just hear him muttering as you and Zombo and Bucky walk away. Just, oh, thank Luna, that thing is gone.
Zombo, it looks like you're a little bit sluggish. And then I start counting my fingers. Oh, it's been a long time. I take Zombo into a corner alley and recast Anime Dead on him so that he's 24 hours of more Zombo-ness.
So the sluggish, rigid motions it was making as it attempted to follow you away from the archive eventually sort of loosen up, and Zombo's back to moving, much like he was the first time you cast the spell.
Very nice. And then I just walk back to this tavern singing the Goodberry song while fiddling with some good berries. You know.
No, please.
You catch the eye
my breath,
of...
Bucky, 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 Bucky.
You catch the eye of 2 or 3 wizards who are strolling in the opposite direction and cross your path, and one of them stops for a moment, listening to you singing that tune, and just starts to nod his head just a little bit. But he looks confused, and he gives you a turn, and then he just keeps walking with the other wizards.
I use a little chill touch, and I just ferry a good berry over to the guy who looked at who looked at me after the song.
He graciously accepts it as it's whisked over to him with chill touch, and he places it on in his inside pocket in his robes.
I give him a knowing look. From one fellow connoisseur to another.
So as you get back to the tavern, you are the last one to arrive, making the party whole again. As those of you that were there previously, presumably drinking along with John. John has not stopped drinking since he got here, although he is looking significantly healthier than last most of you saw him. Turns out, a mead or 16 will do the Dondergod good. And he's having a merry, raucous time, drinking and telling stories and just vaguely like giving away lots of his own history. Although every time he tells any particular story about himself, if you've heard it before, it changes. It's never told the exact same way twice. Sometimes wildly overblown, or perhaps maybe that's what actually happened. With John, you'll never really know how some of these events went down. Although he's definitely taken tonight to spend a lot more time regaling you with stories where Ragash sort of takes the spotlight. Something about being in Tamont and hearing about people talking about orcs has brought him back to speaking of his friend who he hasn't seen in a very long time. The stories that he tells, he talks of slaying dragons and foiling the plans of liches and other rather over-the-top adventures that he's been on, all the time reminding each of you just why Ragash is called Fire Song. And he boasts as if it's his own power. He takes pride in mentioning, "You should have seen the fireball that she cast that one time. Oh, an entire cathedral just gone in a matter of seconds. You wouldn't believe it if you saw it." And then with that, he continues to drink and tells you more of the stories of the seven, until he notices that Sharid has entered, making the party whole, minus one particular tiefling doing study in the arcane archives. And as Sharid enters, he looks up at Sharid and he notices that through the door behind you as you enter, it's gotten rather dark. He's like, How long have I been drinking?
At least a couple hours.
He says,
You look like you were having fun, though.
Just only hours. Good.
Yeah, it hasn't been weeks yet. I think you're good.
Good. I've definitely had... Days could be dangerous. Weeks, I've done it before, but hours is good. And he grabs more and keeps drinking. So what are the rest of you up to now that we're all in the tavern?
Drink, I suppose.
I think it's good to get a couple drinks in and then immediately hit the hay so that we can, get rid of like level 2 exhaustion, which would be nice.
I want to talk to Solgar about the dog.
Yeah, there is currently a dog and chicken running around
And
in
the
tavern.
chicken. Yes, I am very entertained by the chicken.
Much to the perturbance of the barkeep and what you think is probably also the owner, considering how miffed he looks as he eyes the dog and the chicken, and every once in a while shouting to Solgar, initially harshly, reminding Solgar to make sure he don't make no mess in here, but as he speaks and shouts and looks at Solgar, he gets more timid and quiet. And just keep it clean.
I feel like you have to worry more about the party members than the dog.
He looks. He looks over at the other party members and says, "At least everyone's paid for." And he, a broken man, he goes back to pouring more and more pints of mead before hustling them to John.
So,
I was gonna peek in and say, "Oh, there's pets allowed. Zombo, come in."
The barman sees Zombo as it crouches to enter through the doorway before returning to its full height. And he just stares open-mouthed at the entryway. And as he looks like he's about to protest, he's just... and continues pouring drinks.
Another drink.
I take a seat and bring Zombo and tell him to wave hi to our new animal friends.
Zombo raises its arm almost mechanically as it raises it like this and just sort of does talons like extended as it waves. Doug immediately turns to Zombo and begins to bark up a storm.
Yeah, they're friends.
I have a headache. I need the dog to shut up. So I'm gonna grab hold of the dog. and feed it some of the friggin' meat that I've still got in my pockets.
You reach for the meat in your pocket to find it is already gone.
Of course. Of fucking course.
This
For
time,
the reserve meat.
this time though, when you look back to Doug, what you actually see is the meat that was formerly in your pocket being fed to Doug by Rebecca.
Fucking kid's just as bad.
Doug does in fact quieten down though, although he's keeping his distance as far on the other side of the tavern floor from Zombo as he can.
That's fine by me. If it keeps him
Imagine-
quiet.
I'm just imagining Zombo's movements being like source filmmaker.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was thinking Young Frankenstein, the guy that does the to get the cigar.
So, you were about to approach Solgar about the doggo.
Yes,
Now that
but
you've
she
seen all
seems
this.
a bit not in the mood, so I don't know if it's a good idea now. I make a smoke, and so I get the amber, I get the leaves, and make a rolly, and then I sit next to Solgar and the dog. And I'm like, those are new.
Do you want to pay him?
No, and no, I couldn't possibly no.
Doug looks up at M, like, tongue out, panting. Like he's locked on target.
I just blow smoke on the dog's face so that he leaves me alone.
It seems to do nothing to phase him whatsoever.
Okay, so why'd you pick a dog?
Not my choosing.
Which is the dog?
Belongs to Rebecca.
Cute. I'm not bringing that on my pony.
As you're talking, Doug stands up and silently sort of trots his way over to M. And
How big is this dog? Let's talk about that.
it's husky size, so it's
My
gonna be
brother
pretty
have
big.
one of them.
And
Do you have a measurement that I can base myself on? I'm scared.
stands about 60 centimeters tall.
Oh, that's not too bad then. Okay, yeah, I can deal with that.
But you are sat down, and while you are sat
I'm
talking to
tiny
Solgra,
already.
yeah, Doug, just his entire front off as his legs come up, just sort of land on your lap, and his snoot is right up in your face, and he's panting with tongue out.
You don't seem to be that keen on dogs.
No.
Doug's head turns to
No.
Solgra and he just barks like "ow, whoa, 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 whoa," at you as if to stop and interrupt you, and then immediately turns back to M, like snoot in face.
I just pet him absent-mindedly while he sat
We
on
didn't-
him's lap. Just
We
like,
didn't have lots of dogs home, so they're scary, they're big, I'm tiny.
He waits a few moments while you're uncomfortable, and then immediately dives his head like into your chest and just starts to, like rub himself against you, like.
I'm like,
Like, despite him being a big dog, he then attempts to like get his other legs up so that he can try and sit on your lap.
is it? Did you not have picked one of those naked cats? Because they look super class.
So
You know the ones that I'm talking about. Oh,
M is now
Solgra.
smothered by Doug as Doug looks very smuggishly around the room up at Solgra, like panting happily.
So what did you call this thing then?
Doug.
Aww.
As you
That's
say his
cute.
name, he looks up at you and just... The dog's grinning as best the dog can.
Doug, leave the Eladrin alone. Get here.
And he immediately
Yeah.
jumps down and sits in front of you.
Good dog.
Thank goodness for that. Thank you. Do you want to roll, Solgra?
No, thank you.
Oh.
You won't have to worry about him for much longer. He's going with Rebecca. Thought it'd be something nice to keep her company while she's at Fort Underdog.
That's really sweet. I think you did a good thing to get a dog for Rebecca.
Hey?
I have to run, but I saunter over sort of drunkenly to the bartender, and I just take a look around at just the scenes that are unfolding in the tavern. And I just say to him, like, "What are you looking so uncomfortable for? You never seen a dog before?" And I ask him, "So, like, what's there to do, you know, for a bard in Tamont these days?"
He looks at you and he takes umbrage initially with not seeing a dog before as he points at Zombo and says, "That is not a dog!
Ah, he's just a friend. He's all good.
It's got no head!
Cheeky
Yeah,
ring.
I'm not sure if I prefer that, if I'm honest."
I mean, if anything, he's less of a threat.
He says, "It's a good job your boss is paying for all this. Anyway, bard stuff.
Agreed.
Yeah. Says, there's for the festival here tomorrow. It's a mid-afternoon, I believe. We won't give exact times. I'm sure bards will start showing up. There's some kind of talent show and arts and crafts and all manner of things. Essentially, there's some judges coming to judge who is most worthy of being the best performer, and either way, I know I'm getting paid to host it in this bar, so that's all there is to it."
That's really interesting. And do any of the other party hear, or do any of the rest of the party hear that?
Anyone actively listening out for anyone that's not Jorn, as he continues to tell his stories and drink, will have heard that.
Cool. I'll keep that in mind.
He says you also there's a fairly hefty prize involved in the form of currency if you win it. Although I've heard there's a lot of so-called famous bards travelling in from all over the continent tomorrow for a chance of that prize money. So I wouldn't put too much of your faith in it.
I'll put just about as much of my. Yeah. That's the kind of state that I'm in, you know, mentally.
He doesn't really feel like continuing this conversation, so he puts another beer in front of you on the bar and pushes it your way after looking at the state you're in.
Nice. A responsible bartender, I love it. I give him a wink. I saunter off to find Jorn and the others, and I continue on with my merry night. I take a 4-hour meditation at some point during
Yes.
the night as well.
Yeah.
And with that, I have to bid you goodbye for,
You
for a little bit.
you sense musical duties, and thus will be
I
pulled.
just have to go practice.
You're being
Go basking.
pulled into the void for a period of maybe half an hour. So
Cool.
Enjoy the
Right.
void.
we'll see Oscar
you.
upon A's return. Which means I have to very quickly switch over to the other screen. And oh, I guess that no longer works. No. Oh, it's because A's still connected. Ah well. You know what? The screen on Twitch is going to be slightly inaccurate for a while, and you guys can just deal with it.
I grunt and start petting Doug.
Doug very much enjoys being pet, and therefore starts to like nuzzle into you.
So I was joking. I'm pretending to be Solgar right now because
Oh.
everything's
Too late, that's now canon. Shareed is now being pestered by the dog this time. Before Shareed got back to the tavern, everyone else has now been through this in some fashion. There's about an hour where Doug was just sat with John the entire time as John fussed him overly much as he kept drinking. And much to
I
Solgra's
offer-
chagrin, gave Doug some of the mead.
Well, I offered Doug a good berry since this happened now, I guess.
Doug
I'm just
eats the
amazed
good
how-
berry.
I'm just amazed at how the chicken's looking at Mushadid, seeing like a giant version of itself.
Sorry, I can't.
The chicken is staring at Sharid. That is confirmed. That's canon. It's having something of an
I
existential
stare back at the
crisis.
chicken. I start fluffing my feathers up as I look at the chicken.
It cowers.
But then I offered a good berry now that it's been dominated.
Did you T-pose?
Yeah, basically.
Alpha male.
The chicken eats the good berry. Yes, Em.
Would this be a good time to ask for help?
I mean, you can ask for help whenever you want to.
But also, I don't know, would John be mad if we were doing not good things?
You've been in the tavern for a few hours now,
Bust
so
the gates down.
you've now heard at least 3 stories in which John was part of a heist. One of which succeeded.
Oh no, that's not looking good, is it?
John's not known for
Okay.
being good at heists and stealthing. You recall about 2 hours ago, in John's 20th glass of mead as he was drinking, and fussing Doggo, telling you all about the time he had to go steal an ancient artifact, and was immediately caught as he blazed his way in through the front door, yelling, "I am the Donda God!" and raising his sword up high. Yeah, he laughs. He's like, It didn't work very well. I had a lot of fun though."
I hear you on that one, man.
He nods at you knowingly. He's like, "I've heard."
Okay, so I might be in a bit of a situation, and I kind of need to find a way to get something that it's somewhere and it's very protected. And I was wondering if you guys would be happy to give me a hand.
Oh, if you wanted good berries, you just have to ask. I have lots.
What do you mean by hand?
I mean, I can get a bunch of chickens for you. Just don't ask from where.
Well, they're not being very helpful just now, but I need to get something. And I might need help to get that something that I need.
You have any more details?
I'm in.
I need to get into the fucking palace and steal something that belongs to the fucking emperor. But
I'm
shh,
out.
Quiet.
I'm back in.
I'm in. I'm out.
Yeah. I'm in.
This is the moment that John gets a very serious look on his face, the kind you've seen only a few times before. He leans in and says, "Are you attempting to steal from the Emperor?"
No, sir, I would never do such a thing.
He says, hold on, let me get this straight. You want to get into that palace, a very heavily guarded structure, maybe sneak around, possibly maybe have to fight a few people, to steal a very valuable item, and make away with it. Is that correct? From the Emperor of the Staymore Empire.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Excellent, where do I sign?
Well then. Yes. There's a thing, it's in his...
John sees you
the
pulling all
points
the
for
notes.
the quiz.
John sees you pulling all the notes out for what you're about to say, and he's like, "Oh, this is looking very prepared. I wasn't prepared for this.
I'm always prepared.
I'm not."
I always have a plan, John. Oh, lost flashback there. I need to get into the study, and there's a chest in his study where there's a thing that I need for a friend. And also, a word on the street is that Mr. Tristan Stamer has the volume number 1 of the Phallic Barbarian in the same
Is
chest.
this what this really is about?
No, it's also about the bad people that I've made friends with.
That face. If that does not become a clip in the next 10 seconds, I will be
Someone
very
clip it.
sad.
On it.
I wasn't
Chat.
paying attention.
Chat.
I was writing stuff down and looked up and just.
Fanaticism intensifies.
Oh lord.
Come on, guys. But yeah, it's not about the book, but it's about people that can help us.
Help us with what?
So John quaffs.
Not hurting us.
John quaffs the last of his current glass of mead, slamming it down on the table, and he leans in, says, "Right, if we're going to do this, we should do it properly. Everyone needs to be really quiet."
Okay, John.
I'm being as quiet as I can be.
That's one ASMR plan.
And as John continues to ask for everyone to be quiet, he's ironically being the loudest person in the entire time. I said we have to be really quiet if we want to steal this thing.
Yes, we wish to steal the meat on a stick.
Shh.
He
Out
says,
of
"Oh yeah,
curiosity,
meat on a stick."
What is John's stealth? Just out of curiosity.
It's not good.
Okay.
No.
Do I want to know?
Looking at
need to be the
John,
distraction.
you would not imagine him to be a stealthy man.
On a scale of 10 to
But he's
go,
on-
like
10 to Gershel, so going down to Gershel.
yeah.
He may be on par with Gershel.
So, yeah, would everyone be up to have an adventure?
So, do you need me
Suppose so.
in? Do you need me in costume or?
Well, that is a very good point because since we were talking about the book of the Phallic Barbarian, do you know that thing? Did you hear that, or were you like busy when the guy said that there's a performance thing?
Bear with me one sec. I'm just gonna run up to the bar and see whether I can grab a flyer, and I'm just gonna plunk myself down while you're still talking.
Yes. Thank you, Solgra. Yes. Look.
Yeah. The performance thing, I sort of caught it a little bit, but I was a bit enamored by the tales of John.
Okay, but there's a performance thing, and the price is money, and it says here on the flyer that the people that win the things will be brought into the palace. Sorry, I'm very hyped up when I'm exhausted. I try to keep up. I haven't slept in ages, and last time I slept was 2 hours. So, on the flyer, it says we can go in the palace. So we don't need to find a way to sneak in, break windows, break locks, stuff. We just walk in the front doors and everyone will clap. Because we will perform for everyone in the palace the pantomime of the Phallic Barbarian.
I'm gonna go fight.
I
Can you not do both?
I want to do both too. I think it will fit the scene.
Yeah,
I need
get a
blood
bit
in my
of
face.
get a bit of scrub on, and then yeah.
How long have you thought of this plan? Where did you come? Why?
Do you have a better plan?
I would argue not attempting it, but that is clearly out of the option.
Not attempting what?
To steal the Emperor's fancy gems or whatever.
John
you're
turns
stealing.
to Caporius and
I
says,
think we're a bit past
Caporius,
that now.
what's your plan to steal it?
Yes. Tell him.
See, I think you missed the last thing I said there, where I said I would suggest not stealing as a better approach.
And
That is
John
not
scoffs.
an option.
John scoffs at that and says, That's not fun. No one will tell stories about you doing nothing. He turns back to M and says, what are we gonna do?
The pantomime of the phallic barbarian.
What's that?
It's a pantomime.
I got that much. What was the second half?
John, you don't know the phallic barbarian?
Should I?
Taps him on the shoulder and just waves at him.
Something here does not add up.
So there's this book series that I've been kind of collecting, like if it was coins.
And he
And
looks
I
at
feel like
you very seriously, like gets really close and says, look
Yes,
at me.
John.
Do I look like the kind of man that reads books?
No. But
Exactly.
never mind. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
I mean, you look like the kind of guy to read picture books.
I like pictures. If they're violent.
And is there pictures?
Is there pictures, Em?
Yes, but I wouldn't consider them violent in a way that you would consider them violent.
And John looks at you very confused, like, what do you mean not violent in a way I would think is violent?
Just show him the front cover.
I mean, there's some action going on, but I don't think we're talking about the same kind of action.
John looks more and more clueless. He goes, oh!
Yes.
And you want to pantomime that?
No, not that part. We can turn it into something wholesome. The phallic barbarian is apparently already a beloved character in the collective imaginario of the ladies around middle age, I guess human middle age, on this continent.
He looks across the table at Solgra and says, I'm learning things tonight I didn't want to learn ever in the rest of my life. And after a moment of Solgra and John sharing this shared moment of confused disgust, he turns back to Em and says, okay, so what is the plan exactly?
What if we pretend we're some traveling performers group and present the pantomime of the phallic barbarian? And then if we win, we go in, perform the pantomime, and while that is happening, we or I, or if someone wants to help, we can go and do a bit of hide and seek search around the palace.
And he nods the entire time, but you get the feeling he's not quite followed everything, and he says, okay, so what is my part in all this?
Well, I didn't think you'd be on board with this, so I need to come up with something.
So you have no plan for me, is that what you're saying?
I'll have... Do you want a rolly? I can make you a rolly.
He says, I
Can I
probably...
get you another pint?
Yes,
Yes, rolly?
pint.
I've got a plan for him. And so like whispers over to Em to try like save John's feelings.
John's got more of a glazed look in his eye, and he's still not sure how he feels about learning about the phallic barbarian, and says, so long as I don't have to do anything like that, then I'm in.
He can hand out the flyers.
Flyers, I can do that. Yeah.
Can I just...
Yeah. I'll give people the piece of paper with the phallus on it, and that will be my part in the plan.
The gym arm thing is always on in Philadelphia.
That is what it's about. Yeah, there'll be. I'll line out the flyer. It's got the phallus on. There's a barbarian and action, and give it to as many people as will go.
Don't give the action to as many people, just give them the
No,
flyers.
I would never presume.
Yes, keep the action for yourself.
He glances at Solgar. He's way out of his depth. He's like, am I doing the right? I don't know.
probably the safest bet.
Okay, good. Yes, Capo.
I want to interject and say, still don't know how I feel about the plan, but a man with a booming voice like that, would that not make a good presenter for your play thing?
He would. But
I don't trust him not to get drunk, to be honest.
Is being sober
like-
an important part of this plan?
we also have a bard.
Oh, we do. Yes, we do actually.
Yes.
So long as I don't have to be sober, I can.
No, you
I'll
can
do
be
it.
as drunk as possible and talk
Excellent.
to as many people as possible and tell everyone
Excellent.
to come and see us.
I
Yes.
can do that.
Get friendly with everyone, but not like the phallic barbarian.
No,
would be.
no. That's bad.
How about I get you that pine knife?
Yes, please.
Yep. Okay.
I
John's
start
maybe like
studying the
30
cover of the-
pints in at this point. He's been drinking all afternoon. Sorry, Cactus, you were saying?
I stare at the cover of the Phallic Barbarian for a second, and like arcane math symbols start flashing my eyes, and I say, "Wait, action, two-pronged approach from the front and from the back. I have an idea."
Wait, what?
I think this plan needs more than just one approach. What if we had some contingency? So, what if the play doesn't work? What if you get, held in isolation and kept under watch by the guards? I think we should have one going in the front and one going in the back. So maybe we have a Phallic Barbarian inspired two-pronged approach.
So what you're saying is there'll be business at the front
Back at the
and
back.
party at the back.
Yes.
You
Plan
guys
mullet.
are on about.
I think I might know some people who know some people that might be able to get us through the proverbial back door.
You're gonna have to be really specific here. What shall I need?
I
You're
throw
already
up a handful of good berries into the air, and they start circling around. And then I start singing the good berry song. Does that explain everything?
That's a banger.
Can you teach me that song?
You already know the song. It's in your heart.
Right, let me just check that one. Is it
But I toss you a good berry first. Here, just munch this.
As you guys are discussing this, John, while still drinking, is looking over the flyer that Solgra brought over, and he looks up at Shareed and says, "Shareed, there's says something about culinary and brewing in this this bit of paper here. What about that broom juice?"
Ooh, I think that could work.
Yeah, it's good boom juice. And he mumbles to himself for a little bit as he's looking through. And he says, "It says arts and crafts here." And he grins at no one in particular. Says, "What if I made a shiv? I could like whittle the shiv, right? That's arts and crafts."
Yeah.
He says, "Yeah, and he sort of leans back.
Yeah.
He's just thinking to himself while you guys talk.
I just hand him one of the sticks from the meat on the stick.
He takes it, and he's like, while you guys are talking, you can see that he's trying to whittle this stick into a shiv, but he's using Stormbringer to do it. This is gonna be a good shiv.
Right. So, like, I know you guys seem set on like doing this whole performance thing, but I'm a fighter. I'm not an actor. I'm gonna go fight.
We can do the fight first. I want
Just
that prize money
specifically
too.
missing the point where I said I'm not an actor.
Yes,
Don't worry.
in your heart.
What if you get paid for it?
I could get paid for fighting.
You can get paid for both.
Exactly.
What exactly do you want me to do?
Please, Sorgra, help us.
What exactly do you want me to do in this particular thing? What role will I be playing?
Well, we can get you something easy, but still mighty and important.
I'm not as drunk as John.
She never
You
is.
don't have to be drunk to do that.
No, I'm not as drunk as John. You can't say some flowery words to me and everything will be okay. I'm going to go fight.
Can I roll deception or something?
Not against other players.
Can I not?
No, I'm not gonna let you try and deceive using the dice. You'll have to deceive using your words.
Sorgra, I think you're really cool. I think you're my favorite in the party. I always come and sit next to you. So it would mean the world to me. You're probably the only friend I've made since I've come here to this world. And I hate this world. But I feel like you're my only friend for now. And it would mean so much for me if you could help us.
No.
Oh
If you don't
damn!
do it,
Another
I'm gonna
minute, I'll
fight.
cry.
After
I'm
that, I
giving
would have
it
been.
up.
After that, I would have like if that was an NPC, you would have got that. Solgret, stone cold.
But I've pet your dog. It jumped on me. I think you owe me.
Doug barks and howls at Solgret as if to encourage Solgret and back up M.
If not mortally wounded by the end of the tournament, I may consider helping.
If you do it, I won't buy 5 chickens.
I don't give a
And
fuck
train them
whether
to
you've
follow
got
you.
5 chickens. I'll eat them.
Once
I
you,
don't give a fuck.
the moment you begin to relent and sort of say that you might get involved, Doug jumps up and starts licking your face.
I think the dog's happy about that, Sorgra. Look.
Involved.
What?
Dog isn't even involved.
Maybe we can
The
get...
dog can have my fucking place.
The dog can be in the play, and so can the chicken.
Doug lets out a quiet yelp and runs to the corner to sit with Rebecca.
You're not so fucking weird, tough now, are you?
And he barks back at you from the corner, just aroo.
Can I give Sorgra a hug now? That
Don't touch me.
You can certainly try.
Can I try? I mean, Sorgra's the one with 5 HP. I'm on full health, so...
You can't leverage it that way.
Can I try?
I mean, you can approach Solgri for a hug.
Very quickly. Yes, I'll sneak in. I'll be like, thank you. And then run.
I look at the 2 animals and
Like us.
see that they're not being part of the play.
What? Excuse me?
So I'm gonna cast a tier 2 animal friendship to try and get both of them
What are you trying to get them to do?
to be part of the play.
You can see Doug is reluctantly having to agree through animal friendship, just sort of like mumbling and barking to itself. Kevlan too, Electric Boogaloo, he's up for it. He doesn't care. He just squawks his way over to you and sits on the table.
John,
Yeah.
where the fuck is Kevlan? Not Kevlan, wrong person. The tiefling.
Well, Vetus. And again, he looks around trying to get a sense of time of day. And he's like, he just went to the arcade archive, what, half an hour ago? And then he looks at the pints in front of him and says, hour ago?
I just came from the library. He was there.
Yeah,
Doing
yeah.
some learning things.
It's been like an hour.
Yeah, something like that.
I wait for him to get back, and then this farce ends. Just start stabbing the table with the dagger. Ignoring
Ooh.
everything around me.
Is that the game?
Can we play that? The one where you do this? I'm good with daggers.
Finger fillet.
You can certainly try.
Are you gonna make me roll for it?
I am. That is a skill check.
Oh.
Don't do it. You're gonna lose your finger.
Exhaustion.
Yeah, exhaustion.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, so is everyone in then?
For the finger fillet?
I don't know where that was gonna go, but
You told me it was called the phallic something. Finger fillet sounds way worse.
for the helping me with the heist.
Yeah, heist, yeah.
You've still not actually told us anything past helping with the heist. You've not given us any actual details of what you're planning to do.
So one shot
What
in
do
the
you
palace.
want? We're gonna do a heist, and there's gonna be a pantomime. It's good times.
Yeah.
It's everything you need in life.
I don't have anything else. I just came up with all of this. I'm gonna go and think about my life choices and why I'm here, and then come back tomorrow morning with a plan first thing in the morning. How about that?
So when we're in the palace, what then?
We're in the palace. We're not in the
Yes.
palace right now.
No.
Yes, we get to the palace,
Yes.
and then we find the place where they keep the stuff, which is the study.
Who?
Well, John, no offense, but maybe not you.
Good, good. I was thinking that
Yeah.
too.
Yes. Maybe Sharid can help me. It's quite sneaky.
I thought we were doing the plan, like 7 in the front, 1 in the back or something. Or
Oh,
whatever.
you want to go from the back, so you won't be involved in the pantomime then? Oscar.
Maybe that.
Heist.
Mrs. to me, hello.
Heist.
He gets the
Pantomime. Yes.
Ooh. Yes.
Perfect. That's all I need. Thank you.
Is there a prescribed way for this to go, or is this just
No,
random?
I'm just trying to get people.
Trying to get everyone to buy in.
Yes, and it's not been easy.
So what I'm hearing now is we've got the pantomime plan and also a second plan to go in the back that doesn't involve the pantomime. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, they're complementary. They're complementary.
Solgret?
Can I just lean over to John at this point and say, if I don't win this fucking tournament, cripple me.
And he looks at you and says, that seems a bit harsh.
So's your face.
Then he sort of blinks at you for a minute and says, no, that's fair. He says, you want me to cap your knees or take an arm or kidney
Take
shot
the arm that
maybe?
hurt. You can take the arm that hurts if you want.
And he's still holding Stormbringer in one hand and the shiv that he's been carving in the other. Without missing a beat, he looks gleeful and he instead lifts the shiv and says, I've got a good shiv to do it with. Like Stormbringer is taking up most of the space in front of him on the table, but he's actually like, the shiv's really good. And he looks.
Finds a bit of meat on the bar and then just like puts it on the end of the shiv.
He says, "Look, the shiv has already claimed its first victim," and he eats the meat off of it.
But yeah, maybe let me spend the night out today, and I'll see if I can go find some friends, and then we'll see if the back plan works. If not, then I'll help you in the front plan.
Okay, well, it's now very late evening, and most of the other patrons in the Red Mullet have already made their way off. John himself is looking like he's about to nod off. He's looking pretty glazed at this point, and He stands up from the table, resting, like, steadying himself with Stormbringer, pushing it against the floor, and using it as kind of a cane. The barman, looking at the scuffs being made in the wood, is not best pleased. He goes, "Oh, I'll pay for it," and stumbles his way across, leaving several notches in the wood floor and all the way up the stairs on the handrail with Stormbringer. A static electricity sort of jolts through the path he's just taken, and you can hear him physically collapse into bed upstairs, just boom from the floor above, followed by an almighty snore before silence.
I'm gonna go to bed. I have lots of things to do tomorrow and lots of thinking to do. So I'm gonna go to bed.
I will want to hear your plan tomorrow, but if it's decent, I can be convinced.
Okay, I'll come up with the best plan you've ever had in your life. I promise.
Very well. I shall go to bed as well then.
Okay, so
too.
the party
Down
are
the head.
heading to bed. Is everyone doing that?
Yeah.
But instead of sleeping, I'm gonna sneak out.
Ooh. You have a level. You have 2 levels of exhaustion. No, 1 level of exhaustion.
I do not. I have 0.
You will have taken 1 from today, though.
I have 1.
Yeah, everyone else has 2. And Sorgra, you were not going to leave. What were you
No.
doing?
I'm waiting for Vitas.
Alright, so, and Oscar, I imagine you're also heading up?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so everyone's heading up. Sharid's doing something, but he's gone via his room in the tavern, leaving Solgra alone on the ground floor. The barman huffing slightly that he's had to stay awake, and occasionally bringing Solgra another drink. After an hour or two, finally the robed visage of one Vitas Lani steps through the front door of the tavern, carrying a mass of scrolls and papers with him. And he's somewhat shocked as he looks down to see Solgra still sitting at a table. And he leans in, asking rather curiously, like, "Solgra, why are you still awake at this hour?"
Portal.
And he shakes his head in surprise, like, at this hour? Right now? You want me to portal now? And he says, "Very well, although," and he looks around the bar, says, "This is maybe not the best place to do it. I have a room upstairs. Give me 10 minutes. I'll need to collect the components and begin performing the spell."
Thank you.
And he vanishes upstairs, and you hear the occasional clatter, but overall it's really quite quiet up there. Okay. So after 10 minutes have passed, you head up, and you find Vitas beginning the sequence of casting the spell. As you enter his room, you can see that various runes have been drawn in various inks and other strangely magic-looking liquids on the walls. Everything's glowing a strange hue of purple or blue. And he begins to chant, and a portal opens in the center of the room.
Sorry to ask you to do this so late. I'd feel a lot better if Rebecca was somewhere safer.
And he nods at you whilst maintaining his concentration. And you can see he's taking all of his effort to open this rift in space as the reality in the center of the room begins to wane and ebb and cracks open. The portal slowly tears itself asunder before it becomes a perfect circle, hovering in the air, becoming just large enough to to fit a large humanoid through, and with whatever concentration he has while keeping the portal open, he says, "Just ensure you pass through quickly. You know how to contact me when you want me to open the portal again. Good travels to you, Sorgra."
Thank you. I will stay at Fort Undergod for the night just to save you.
And he
Get some rest.
appears quite thankful. He says, "Now, if you would, this is not easy."
I've got Rebecca in my arms, a fucking dog on my back, and how... Vitus.
And he grimaces and nods, "Yes."
Are the chances of this chicken coming out alive?
Says the same as any of you.
Okay. Step through the portal.
Okay. So you step through the portal, and immediately after you step through, the portal snaps closed, and the swirling blue and purple energies in the room fade away. Cool. Okay, so Solgra is currently gone. As is Doug, Kevlan 2, Electric Boogaloo, and Rebecca. So Shareed will get to you in just a moment. So you're leaving though, right? Are you planning to sneak out?
Yeah, I'm just gonna spend like 1 or 2 hours to see if I can find any good berry enthusiasts outside.
Alright, so you head out, and we will return to you in but a moment. So sometime after the portal, Gershaw, I want you to roll perception for me.
Okay. $19.
What? Oh wait, I was looking at Twitch and not the actual stream, so I wasn't looking at the actual result there. 19, cool. That is good. So, while you slumber, you're awoken during the late hours, and you see your door to your room is swung wide open, and stood in the doorway, illuminated by the few lights coming from downstairs in the bar, you see a robed figure stood in the entryway. You can't make out any of its features.
What colour's the robe?
You can't tell specifically what colour the robe might be. There's not enough illumination. Everything looks like a shade of black or grey in this light.
So, who are you?
The figure steps forward before you have a chance to move, and you see a red light in its eyes as it crouches down to you, holding a dagger, and as if whispered on the wind, you hear an unfamiliar voice whisper, like, "I am your end."
Are you sure about this?
And roll a Dex save for me, please.
Mm-hmm. 25.
25. So you can tell from the way the figure moves, it wasn't aiming to kill you. The dagger instead trying to plunge towards your forearm, although you manage to pull your arm away just in time and receive no cuts. And the figure hisses at you and says, "The blood of the conduit shall run."
Spend 1 key point on summoning arms of the astral self.
Okay. You
He
summon
has
the
to
arms.
take a dex saving throw, DC 12.
Okay, so as the arms of the astral self extend from you and attempt to hit or grapple, they pass through the figure as the cloaked thing, whatever it is in this room with you, fades and slips into smoke and evaporates from the room.
Huh.
And
Is the dagger still there?
no, everything completely vanishes in a puff of smoke as it sort of evaporates and fades away. And as it ends, you can hear again like another whisper on the wind. "I'll be back."
Well, that's not foreboding at all. So... Huh. It's not the first time I've had a dagger pointed towards me, but that was really creepy.
It's at this moment that you have essentially something akin to a seizure, as memories that you can't grasp or make sense of begin to flood your mind. And can I have anyone in the tavern currently in their rooms roll a perception check for me?
Are we still exhausted or not?
You guys are technically asleep right now, or meditating, whatever you do during
so
your
should
rest.
we click on long rest
Yes.
in D&D Beyond?
Yes. Have thyself a long rest.
Are we all long resting?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Including
I
me
can't.
with the seizure?
You'll get one after this, yeah. So
Okay.
you might as well do it now.
I'll do it anyway then.
Yeah.
20.
25.
High rolls. Except Penny Boss.
Yeah, I got 5.
Okay, so only M is going to notice this. So because you're meditating and also not as per usual drunk as the rest of the party when you decided to end your evening and go for your meditation, you can see from under the door frame, as it's now closed, of Gershaw's room, bright white light as it sort of illuminates underneath and the sides of the door frame, and it strobes for a moment before everything goes completely dark. Gershaw, you are still in your room, and as you recover from this seizure moment, you don't know what's going on. You feel disoriented. However, it leaves one strong memory in your mind of you as a child. The memory brings forth smells of rancid blood and peaty earth, and a room in a cavern filled with adults, all wearing robes, faces that you don't remember, some of them masked, and chants that you don't understand. And that is all that you've been able to piece together.
Huh.
Can I go and check?
Yeah.
On your shop. So I get the daggers. And I guess I go and see what the light is.
Okay, so as you enter Gershaw's room, you push the door open just slightly and peer in, and for just a moment, for a split second, as you enter the room, you see Gershaw stood fully in the center of his room, entirely upright, his eyes glowing a bright white. for just a moment before the light in the room completely vanishes and Gershoff falls and slumps to the ground.
Okay, is he conscious?
In a moment he will be. He's very groggy.
Okay, I'll go close with the daggers like that and gently tap him with my foot on his head.
As I
I
look
said
up,
gently.
as I look up, I see the daggers, and I'm immediately like, "Oh shit, not another one!"
What do you mean?
No.
Not another one?
Oh, hey. Yeah. You know when you have one of those like getting attacked nights, like assassinated sort of thing. You know. one
It
of
wasn't me. I just got here and you were being super weird.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I. Why do you have your daggers out?
I don't fucking know. I just woke up and I saw like a light or something and it was like, I'd go and check. I can leave if you want.
Did you see like a robed person figure thing around? Did you hear anything or see anything? Anyone walk in the building at any point?
No, I saw you shooting fucking ray things from your eyes.
Really? Oh,
Yes.
cool. I have no idea how the hell I did that though. Are you sure? Are you sure? You're just not like a little bit too drunk or whatever? Because like
I don't get
that does
drunk
not sound like
on.
me.
I can't get drunk on this plane.
True. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So that was weird.
Yeah, like what, like, why am I even on the floor? Why am I? Well, actually, no. To be honest, I understand why I'm on the floor. It's the floor. My floor.
I thought you'd be on the floor already. Instead, you
Yeah.
were being in some sort of like psytrance mood.
When it. So, was there any moment where I wasn't on the floor?
When I came in, you weren't on the floor.
I was. I wasn't.
No, you were just up
Now you see. Now that's weird.
because you're
Especially
normally on the floor.
You got it.
Yes.
So we're gonna need. I tell you what. Like, I need to figure this one out. But so is there anything weird about me when I was off the floor? Was there anything else? You said there's like a light show. Like, where are the lights coming from?
Your eyes.
Oh.
Roll an
I
Arcana
think-
check for me.
Oh fuck.
Yep, definitely just the light coming from his eyes.
Are we talking like Kevlar eyes here? Like, what
Was
are
it
we
like
talking?
Kevlin's eyes?
Yeah, like the entire, like not just the pupil, like his entire eyes, both of them just
Yeah.
exuding white, bright light.
It was just they were gone.
Oh God! Don't
And-
eat me! No! No, please!
I liked Kevlan. No, but what do you mean a robed person?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I woke up, as you do. Door was open, as it sometimes is. Figure was standing there, as there sometimes is. Figure walks over.
Yeah.
Pulls out dagger,
I'm like,
as sometimes
Mhm.
is.
yeah.
And then they were talking about some kind of thing, and then tried to stab me.
What were they
or there was
talking
some-
about?
the what was that? They were talking about some like conduit thing or whatever. I don't have any idea about any of that kind of stuff. I mean, like as long as I have floor, I'm good. That's all I need. But then they stabbed the floor, and I proceeded to punch them. And then, from what I assume, they said that they'll be back. So I don't know what we're talking here, but they seem to like evaporate into mist. I don't know if that was because I punched them with my thing, or
What'd you punch them with?
my astral spirit, as it were.
Did you actually hit?
I don't know.
Oh wow.
And to be honest, as in like it just gives me 2 extra arms to mess with. That's basically what's happening here. Like, you know.
So doubling the chances of 0.
Yeah, you got it.
And I'm like,
That math skills is really
That's
paying
the
out.
0.
All right.
But hey, you okay now? Do you want
Yeah.
a rolly?
Yeah.
I'll make you one to get the things, and I make one for Gersha, and I make one for me, and then I go back to my room because I have lots of stuff to do.
Okay, so you
How
guys
do
will
you
you guys
eat
will need to
this?
return to your like.
Wait, what? You trying to eat that?
Wait,
Yeah. Just
I'm gonna let that be canon. You've already left. Now Gersh has to figure out what he's doing with the rolling.
Yes.
But you two will have to resume your whatever you do for rest in order to get your long rest because you were interrupted in the middle of the night. So Gersh will have to go back to sleep. You'll have to go back to your meditation for another few
Yeah,
hours.
that's fine.
Okay, so before we deal with Cactus's stuff that Shreed's up to, the entire party, including Solgra on the other continent when she sleeps, the entire party together this night, after this has happened, share a singular dream amongst other visions and dreams that you would normally have while meditating and dreaming. This singular dream is of Gershaw stood in his room in the tavern, and stood behind him is a silhouette of a large creature. It's unidentifiable in this dream. What you can see is a huge hand clawed wrapped around the back of his head, holding his skull from behind as red energy begins to pour out of the back of the creature, letting you see more of its silhouette for a moment. And that is all any of you remember from that particular dream. But you each share it, but none of you know that you all had the exact same dream.
did I have the same dream or no?
Yeah, you had it as well. Although you had that dream from a first-person perspective.
Ah.
So, more of a feeling than a visual for you. So, while all this faffing about of horrible things has been going on, Shareed, what are you up to out exploring the village in the early hours?
I just want to spend maybe 1 or 2 hours before I go to bed, checking if I can make contact with the Goodberry Order stationed here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna walk around, singing my
Oh,
my
you
Goodberry
do.
tune.
You do. You most
Oh.
certainly do today. So on this particular evening, while you are wandering, singing your song, down an alleyway that you pass, you hear a noise. It's kind of like someone trying to like get your attention, like a psst. But instead of it coming out like that, it's more of a hit.
I go over to investigate.
So as you enter this alleyway, you see stood in front of you, much shorter than you are, carrying a large wooden staff, peering up at you, is a creature that looks like it's half man, half tortoise, and it smiles up at you and it says, "Are you of the accord, brother?"
I flash out like 7 good berries of varying colors and say, "Good berry to you, sir."
And the turtle shows you both of his palms for a moment, and then crosses his hands, and as they cross, appear in his hands 7 different coloured berries of varying sizes. And he says, "And a good berry to you."
So I walk past him and go inside.
He's just hanging out in this alleyway currently.
Oh.
Yeah, he's just in a back alley. And,
Okay. Could I get directions to the nearest Goodberry Order?
and he grins up at you and says, "You're not from around here, are you?"
No, I'm from the order across the seas.
And he nods very slowly up at you and says, "You will not find the Accord here any longer. They are in the northern territories. I am but an emissary.
Are there any contacts at all here, or are you the only one?
And he nods as you're looking at him.
Do you happen to know anything about the current empire or anything happening in the palace?
And he nods slowly to you and says, "Dark times abate the Staymore Empire, though they are of its own doing. We just keep watch."
Is there any word on plans happening?
And he shakes his head. "Not of the accord. Though
How about other interested parties?
darker machinations remain in play, both here and across the Staymore Empire."
I think there might be an interested group looking for the treasury of the Emperor, and me and some of my party want to get there first. Do you have any ways of helping us?
And he thinks to himself, slowly nodding. Perhaps." And he thinks, and he again waves his hand, and the berries in his hands all vanish. And the next time you see his palms as they go from palm down to palm up, he's holding a small scroll, and he hands it to you and says, "For your eyes only."
Can I open the scroll now?
Yep, you can. As you open it up and take a peek inside, it appears to be floor plans of the palace, including several floors worth that would take you to Tristan's study, amongst other important rooms within the palace. And he says to you, "Do whatever action you deem most worthy, though the Accord will step in no further. Should the Staymore Empire fall, it is of their own doing."
Understood. Thank you very much. Good berry to you.
And with that, he bows low, resting on his staff. And as he comes back up, on his head rests a large golden berry. And he says, "Take this with you."
What is this? I've never seen one. Actually, have I seen one of these before?
You have not
Does this
seen
look
one of
like
these
a
before.
berry?
No, this is new.
Okay.
And as you take it, he says, "If you want to ascend within the Accord, take this berry as a test. Keep it safe and unharmed. Travel to the Northern Territories and find the Turtles and Titans. Deliver this, and you will find more answers." And he slowly turns and begins to slowly walk away. You can hear the dun, dun of the staff every time he places it down as he moves slowly to the other end of the alleyway and eventually turns and vanishes out of sight.
I bowed towards his back while he's walking away, and I pocket the good berry and start heading back.
Okay, so by the time you found him and had that exchange, it's about 2, maybe 3 hours have passed since you left, at which point the event with Gershaw in the night has already passed, and you make it back to your room, sort of undetected from anyone, really. The gift of flight.
And then he's gonna rest after that.
Excellent.
Oh, and actually, right before rest, I'm gonna somehow conjure 30 good berries out of nowhere. Don't ask any questions.
Okay, and that'll bring us all to the following morning,
Can
where
we take a break?
we can. This is the moment where Kevlan 2 Electric Boogaloo would have made a lot of noise as it dawned. However, Kevlan is no longer of this continent. So, the morning rises soundlessly until eventually you begin to hear noises of the festival outside. And before we do any of that, we will take a break. So now it is break time. Break. And for a break,
Same.
let's do the maze because we haven't done the maze in a while. So soften up.
The best kind.
I was about to say Master Uguay, but you know what I'm saying.
Monkey.
I believe it was indeed. Not this, but
It reminded me of the Wii ambient music. That's fair.
Right. I'm gonna get quick.
Ooh. I've been really enjoying the bard tunes. They're pretty bardcore.
Oh.
Cool. Exciting times.
Whenever.
Oh, actually, Briggy, if you would just go to random for a moment, you'll see that there's one inspiration due for me. Glistening. I'm gonna let Charles or someone upload them though. I'm running out of slots too fast.
Indeed.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I did.
All the health.
Oh, it may take some time to updating because I did it a little bit ago.
I think it's end.
So you can go ahead and use emotes as well, I think. Let's find out.
Don't break the game.
Yeah, it works with emotes. Go for it. I haven't won one of these in such a long time. And today will be no different. I like this. All the lurkers came out like, nah, we don't want to play maze, but get a drop in here.
Cheeky drop.
Drop doesn't do it. Doesn't require effort.
Nah, that's true. Capo might take that win.
Oh, Russell is on the. Oh no!
Ooh, Schlee.
Oh, no.
So close.
How are you guys seeing this? I'm so behind.
I'm watching it
You had to
like, on the
refresh it.
actual.
Because it was like
Yeah.
2 minutes behind for me.
Yeah, I've just started. I've got Gigs Landing now.
I'm watching it on the actual Streamlabs, so mine's as live as it can be.
Very nice. Very nice.
So I get to see it beforehand. You come back.
Sorry.
You come
I
back
was
with a
so hungry,
sandwich.
man. Oh, yeah, I was so hungry, man. No, I didn't grill it. I microwaved it.
You
'cause I was
microwaved
just
it?
quick enough. Yeah. Because I didn't have time to
I'm
grill
proud.
it.
How soggy is that bottom?
It's soggy. I regret it.
No, you don't.
You don't.
Shut up.
It's part of the charm of the microwave is that soggy extra bit.
Extra moisture.
Yeah, that extra moisture. Okay, so roll back and Capo wins. Capo wins.
Just barely.
Just barely. 22 is still better than 0.
That's true.
Alright, so bringing us back. Here we go. Roll back on camera now, whether you like it or not.
Oh no.
And we return to Tamont in the morning. As those of you that woke up early will begin to start hearing the sounds of festival happening in the city. The streets are already bustling with people. Streets that you were walking down yesterday, as you traverse them today, you'll find that you can barely see to the other side of the street. You can barely see more than 5 feet in front of you because of all the bodies, people packed in together, street vendors yelling louder than before, trying to entice travelers to come purchase their wares. You'll find many trinkets, jewelry, lots of food, all available along almost every street. As overnight, Shreed will have seen some of this in his search around the city in the early hours, but every street now is lined with varying quality of bunting. You can tell the richer neighborhoods from the quality of bunting that is up there now. The areas you're most familiar with at this point being in the more slummy quarter of the city, being fairly bad quality, but you know, A for effort. They're putting an attempt in. Street musicians are playing all over the place. In certain spaces that you stand, you can hear multiples of them giving you a rather cacophonous din of competing songs that don't really mash well together. But hey, it's a festival, that's what it's all about. So, early in the morning, not as early as some of you getting up, but at some point, Solgra, I believe you are going to message Vitus in a way, and be brought back through a portal. But the rest of you, what are you up to while we wait for Solgra's return?
Before people get up, can I go? Are the shops open?
They're starting to open. Like the
Okay.
festival's already like starting and getting in swing, so you're up early enough that it's not too packed in the streets, but there's definitely
Okay, perfect.
vendors on the streets well early in the morning already getting started, and some of the actual shops and storefronts in Tamont are starting to open as well.
Okay, I need to find a place that sells jewelry. Maybe not the traveling ones, maybe like a proper one.
Okay, where do you wanna wander to find one?
Posh place.
So you're gonna head into the more well-off area of Tamont in the in the north. So heading to the north of the city, you walk through the academic quarter that you've been in the entire night, and walk past the arcane archives, and you start to notice as you're walking that the paving is getting more and more even and clear cut. As you look down, you can see that it's very nicely presented on the ground in front of you, and the houses to either side of you are starting to become larger and larger and form estates. And you eventually find yourself in a small shopping district within this rich quarter, and the few people stood around, all in very expensive-looking attire, town guards also roaming this particular area. And the bunting as well is of a very fine silk, laced with gold trim. And yeah, it's all very well to do. And as you are wandering this street, a city guard approaches you and looks down upon you and says, well, what do we got here? Mind showing me your credentials?
I get my jacket or something. No, I have a cloak. So I lift the cloak and I'm like,
And he
Hey, Dad.
sees John's pin and he scowls and says, right. Says, you're free to roam the area as you please, but I'll be keeping an eye on you. And he
please do so. I'm funny.
he scoffs at you and gives you another scowl as he walks to the other side of the street, but he's keeping a vigilant eye on you as you walk the street. And already he's nodded at some other guards up the street who are also keeping their eyes on you.
All good. Yes. So, where am I going?
So you, if you want to look at the shops that you find, there is, as you're looking for, a jewelry store. Looks very, very fancy and somewhat overpriced. Alongside some other curious, what would the word be? Sort of like an upscale bodega. There's a few general stores and what looks like an alchemist.
Ooh.
That's what's in the immediate vicinity.
Do they have Waitrose?
They have the D&D equivalent of a Waitrose, yes.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were to go to the D&D equivalent of a Waitrose and inspect any of the items, you'll find that they're more or less exactly the same as any of the items you could have bought from the general stores in the Poor District, but with a slightly fancier packaging.
Sure. I know I'm in the right place though.
Yeah.
Although if I sell if they're gonna arrest me or something, I'm gonna get wanted for fraud or something again. I'm like
Again?
Out of character.
HMRC intensifies.
Oh, not again. Okay. I'll try and walk in the jeweler.
So as you walk into the jeweler's, little bell chimes above the door as you enter, and you can smell fresh polish as you enter the jeweler's itself is very wide open space with mahogany floors, and everything gleams and shines cleanly, and there are a few display cases lining the edges of the shop, and a rather well-to-do looking man in a suit with a monocle standing behind the counter on the other side looks over at you and says,
I look back
can
at him.
I help you?
Maybe you can.
How so?
Well, I have some jewelry that I'm looking to sell, and I was wondering if you'd be interested into buying it.
It says that entirely depends on what it is and where you got it.
Well, it has been passed to me as a very wealthy family friend unfortunately passed away. So I don't really have a use for it. It's not really to my taste.
Indeed. My condolences, I'm sure. And he gives you a very curious and
Thank you.
disbelieving look that lets you continue.
Thank you. Yeah, and I get the stuff. It's some earrings, some necklace, and some other gems. I believe you said.
Yeah. Okay. So you're wanting to attempt to get these valued and sell them, are you?
Why are you saying it like that? Yes.
That's what you're trying to do? Okay.
Yes.
So the very well-to-do suited gentleman, he takes the jewels and he begins to look closely at them through a small eyepiece. And
Why are you rolling? I'm sorry. What's going on?
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So, and what are you selling? It's the neck. Is it the necklace and the earrings? Was that it?
I'll check on my character sheet. I don't believe you had ever specified. Notes. Gems and necklace from Lady Thingy. Around
Right.
500 gold pieces.
Okay, so the gems and the necklace. Okay. All right. So he looks at you much more curiously, and he says, "So these were within the family, were they?"
No, it was a friend of the family.
Yes. It says, "Can actually no, you don't need to, because I did that roll already." He says, "I can offer you maybe 200 gold pieces for them."
I mean, I feel like they might be worth a little bit more than that.
He says maybe, perhaps, but to whom?
Well, to you, who are gonna sell them to a very lucky lady who's gonna walk in the shop today.
Yes, but if you were to look around at the other jewelry I have on offer, most of it is going to sell today to just about anybody with the coin in this festival, and most of them are worth significantly more. Why should I be willing to pay you more than 200 gold pieces for these trinkets?
Because I believe you could make a very good profit out of these. So the higher the profit, you could even come up with some cool story. Who knows?
Roll
Maybe a hag.
roll persuasion with advantage.
Cannot roll deception. I'm straight up lying to his face. I've never met that lady.
No,
She was
but
a bit
it's more the persuasion for he can make a profit on these. But I'm letting you do it with advantage.
I'm not happy about this. Seven.
So he says, very well, maybe I might make some profits. I will give you 250 gold pieces for all of these trinkets you have brought me. No questions asked, and you will leave my store."
I think you know these are worth a lot more.
And I think you know these were not a family friend's items.
Who do you think they are? Where do you think I'd find them?
And he says,
Excuse me, what were you playing just because I look a bit weird? Is that what you guys do around here?
and he lays the necklace out on his hand and turns it over, showing the proud crest,
Yes.
the Proudmoore crest on the back of it, and
Yes.
he says, "Forgive me, but you don't exactly strike me as a baroness of human descent, and we have no Eladrin in the Empire."
Well, as I said, it's family friends. Not my family, because I'm clearly not from here.
He says, "I gave you my offer, 250 gold pieces, and you will leave my store, and we will never speak of this again. My counter to that is I take these anyway, and I inform the Royal Guard of an Eladrin thief."
I ain't no thief, sir. I'm sorry, but I'm just not.
And he looks you up and down wearing the dark leather and says, "Well, you certainly dress the part, and you carry the goods."
I'm sorry, I like goth and emo music. Blame me for that, like, what's wrong with wearing black?
He says, "This is my final offer. I advise that you take the gold and leave."
Fine.
So he hands you a satchel of gold coins, and
Bless you.
he takes everything on the counter and places it in a tiny locked box under the counter, and says, A pleasure doing business with you, I'm sure. Now, if you would kindly vacate my premises, that will be all.
I feel like if I call him a posh twat, he's gonna not be happy about that. So I'm gonna think that, and I'm gonna leave. Like, have a nice day.
And you? And he kind of sneers at you as you leave.
What a dick. Right? Anyway.
I mean, I wasn't playing a nice person there.
You're definitely not. Thank
No.
you. Appreciate it. Hope you had fun doing that.
A little bit. I don't feel too bad considering that you still made off with 250 gold pieces more than your party members who were also there at the time.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Could have gotten a bit more somehow. Well, we can talk about this later.
No,
I'll put it
you
in my
were
questions.
you were well, maybe if I hadn't if you hadn't have figured out what you were holding. But
Can I not have family? I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Okay. Money. And I need to look for an
artificer.
That one.
Yeah. You don't see anything in the immediate vicinity that gives you any hints, although asking is still always an option.
Who's around? What's going on?
You're still being followed by the 3 city guards, led by the one who saw you into this district. They think they're stealthy and they're not being obvious. You don't think they're trying to intimidate you. You think they're just kind of lousy at following people unseen. But you can clearly see that the one that you approached, that approached you when you entered the district, is stood directly opposite the road to where you're stood now, sort of staring at you. Every time you look across at him, he tries to avert his gaze and whistles a bit, pretending he wasn't looking, and then occasionally looks back at you and stares daggers down at you.
Okay, I'm gonna turn around and wave at them.
And the one watching you just sort of goes, oh, and just keeps quick walking while another one sort of like swaps out with him.
Okay. Hey. Hi there. Hi.
And so one of the guards approaches you as you say hey, and he looks at you and says, yes, what can we do for you?
Hey. Could you possibly point me towards the direction of the best artificer, for fuck's sake, artificer that you have in town, please?
And he looks at one of the other guards, and he looks back at him and sort of shrugs, and he says, they're artificer. Are they the ones that make things? The tinkerers?
Yes, I think so, yes.
Yeah. That is a good question.
Well, this is supposed to be the capital. I would assume you have one.
Not around this district, no. I think we used to a few years ago, and then I forget his name, but he left. I think there is one in the lower district. I can't remember its name though, but if there is one, it's there that you will find one.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Have a nice day, and if you want to come with me, you're very welcome to.
And he shakes his head. No, of course not. I wouldn't dream of it. And sort of nods at you, trying to.
Would you like a rolly though?
The one you're talking to kind of like eyes up the other guards, and he says, "No, but thank you." You can see that he really would have wanted to take one, but he's like, "No, that's very very kind, but no, I must insist." But thank you.
Okay. You're very welcome. Thanks for the information. Bye.
And he gives you a little wave and then sort of like looks around, make sure that the other guards aren't staring daggers at him now as well. But just as you leave, you can see that he cracks you just like the faintest of smiles.
Make friends, yes.
Okay, so that's been your early morning. I'd like head start on the rest. So what are the rest of you doing? Who wants to do things?
Alright. Fanny board.
Yeah.
You wanna go for a walk, mate?
I think, yeah, we'll go for a walk. Yeah.
Alright, cool. We're going
Did
for
you
a
guys
walk.
get the horses?
We're going for a walk.
No, we,
Should not forget the horses.
Don't forget the horses.
we won't. Let's go in somewhere first. We're gonna find a potion shop.
Okay, whereabouts are you heading?
Potion shop.
You don't know where a potion shop currently is, so where are you
Find one of
heading?
the guards that's probably gonna follow us anyway because we're part of the Sean party.
Well, you're in the academic quarter. You
okay.
started your day in the Red Mullet, which is not far from the Arcane Archive, so you're in that section of the city.
All right, I'm gonna walk to the Arcane Archives then, where the guy was like, "You shall not pass," and then just ask him where the
Okay.
potion shop is.
So you head to the Arcane Archives and you approach the entrance, and as usual, the old man stood there looking kind of haggard and tired, like dark bags under his eyes, and he looks up and he sees you and he's, "Oh, for Luna's sake." He's like, "What?" And he stops himself like, "And how can I help you, gentlemen?"
Don't worry, you don't need to pretend that you like us.
He's like, "Oh, thank Luna. What do you want?"
I want to go potion shop.
Potion shop? Why dare I even ask? Why?
Well,
We need
But-
potions.
like, sorry, dude. That's
Yes, no, it is a legitimate question. If you want a potion shop, there are many in Vermont, but they all specialize in different things. What potions do you want? And I will
healing
point you.
potions.
Healing. Thank Luna. Healing. Okay. The potion shop where you'll find the healing potions is in this quarter. If you take this road, follow it to the end, turn left, keep walking. Before you get to the Rose Garden, you will find a small potion shop called the Rose Garden. Not to be confused with the literal Rose Garden. There they will
Okay,
find sell healing potions.
So walk into the rose garden.
No. Stop before the literal Rose Garden. Look to your right, and there will be a storefront that says the Rose Garden.
Yeah, so walk into the rose garden.
Luna, preserve me. Do not tell them that I sent you. Do not mention that I gave you directions. Do not
Okay,
let them know
sorry,
that I had anything to do with the plight that's about to befall them.
Cool.
I was never here.
Thank you. What was your name?
No. My name is No.
Thanks, no.
Okay, thanks. No.
Excellent.
Thanks for
Now,
no.
please leave me.
Okay.
You can see him drinking deeply of some sort of flagon. The smell hits you from a distance. It smells of strong coffee. And you can see him swigging it back. And just sort of sat in his chair outside the archives like, oh, no.
Okay. Right. Let's. Okay. Fanny Boards, you wait there a second. I'm just gonna go into this alley. Okay. I'm gonna punch myself in the face.
You
Please
don't
don't
even
get
need to roll for
arrested.
it. You punch yourself in the face. You now have a black eye. Or you will have a black eye in a few moments.
Specifically in my nose.
Oh, you now have a broken nose.
Okay. I take some of the blood and I start wiping it across my face. And then I equip the correct attire.
Okay, yeah, you do all of that.
All right.
Please don't get arrested before the actual heist.
Please continue.
All right. Fanny Boys, you ready?
Yeah, man. I'm just
Alright.
gonna head in at the shop now then. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna wait outside the shop,
Yeah, well.
away from the windows.
Sorry, I'm waiting for a page to load,
Okay.
just in case. So what are you doing? What's happening now?
I'm just gonna praise you did.
So Fanny Boss has entered the Rose Garden. And so as you enter, you see the shop is composed almost entirely of one room with a small door in the back. It seems like the door is tall enough for Fanny Boss, but not for any of his companions. And behind the counter, you see a little hat pointing out. And amongst the rows of things in the shop, most are various components for brewing, alchemy supplies, and potions. And there are, in fact, a few potions lining the shelves. They all bubble with a tint of red. And you hear some shuffling from behind the counter as you step in. And from behind the counter, you hear a weak voice. Hello? Hello?
I need some potions.
A customer. Just bear with me. I have misplaced my stool. And you see the hat moving back and forward behind the counter, and the thing is clattering over until eventually you hear wood on wood as the stool is slapped against the ground, and then up from behind the counter, you see a small halfling woman as she peers over the counter down at you, looking like, oh, I suppose this counter is entirely superfluous at this point, isn't it? Just bear with me. And she gets down off the stool and she comes around from the side of the counter and like lifts the counter up. And now she's stood it right in front of you in the potion shop. She says, "There, this will be much easier to talk. What can I do for you?"
I'm going to need some potions. See what you got.
You are in the right place. I have lots of potions. What kind?
One healing ones.
Again, we have many healing potions. What kind?
I burst into the door. I am the phallic barbarian. I don't have a greatsword this time, just to note. Just our character.
So you burst in and yell, "I am the phallic barbarian."
Yes.
I want you to roll a dex saving throw for me, please.
Okay.
As you burst into the potion shop, yelling at the top of your voice, you startle the poor halfling, who flinches and reflexively turns to you with a hand held out, and a moment later you are covered from head